So to make this process a lot easier, we have a flow chart that we call the Olga chart. Let's say an apartment complex consists of 14 two-bedroom apartments and they all rent for $500 a month. And it also has 10 three-bedroom apartments that all rent for $800 a month. Now let's say that this property has a vacancy and collection loss that's estimated to be around 6%, and the operating costs are 80 grand. Management is 5% of the effective gross income. If the cap rate here is 8%, what is the value of this complex based on the income approach? I know there's a lot of numbers and this might be a little intimidating. So if you want, I recommend getting a sheet of paper, as I've explained before in many of the older videos, and write it out as we go. Muscle memory goes a long way for learning math. So you can go ahead and pause the video and write out these numbers. As shorthand or brief as you can would be nice. And I'll assume you paused and wrote this down and move on to the next slide. So where do we even begin? Well, Olga chart is the first place we need to go unless they give us a net. They did not give us a net, so we start at the top of the Olga chart. So what's the potential that this property could possibly bring in? Well, if there's 14 units that all rent for $500 a month, multiply them, that tells us how much that those 14 units would bring in every month. Do the same for the 10 units that rent for $800 a month. Once you multiply both of them, you should have $7,000 for one and $8,000 for the other. Now if you add the $7,000 to the $8,000 and then divide that by 12, that gives you the year's worth of all of those units, with everybody having paid every month, being $180,000 potential gross income. Now, because we do have a vacancy and collection loss rate, we've got to take some money out of this potential. So this puts us at the top of our Olga chart with the potential, and now we need to take out our vacancy and collection losses. Now, there's a couple routes you can go here. You can either take the potential gross income of $180,000 and multiply it by 0.06 for your vacancy and collection losses, which tells us we lose $10,800 every year based on the vacancy and collection percentage. Or you could take $180,000 and multiply it by 94%, and it would still come to $169,200, where you subtract the $10,800 away from the potential. Either route's fine. The other one's a bit of a shortcut where there's only one step versus two here, but I like to show you both. So once we take out our vacancy and collection losses, now we know how much money actually came in, $169,200 for our effective. Now we simply just subtract the operational costs, because I do not believe the question gave us any other additional income. Now it said that we have operating costs of $80,000. Take that away from the $169,200, and that leaves us $89,200 as our net income. Now that we have our net, we can go to the triangle. Now management, being 5% here, is irrelevant. They flat out told us what our effective was, and management coming out of the effective has nothing to do with the question. It's already counted into the operational costs anyway. So we just go to our triangle. In the top of the triangle is where you should put your $89,200 net. We had a cap rate of 8% given to us in the question. So just divide that down into the 8%, and then that gives us $1,115,000 as the value for this property. Just a few steps, right?